If you don't mind, we'd like to invite you to sit in and listen to something. I think you could help us appreciate it to its greatest depth if you could make a few notes personally about it.
Good evening.
You've heard the record?
Yes.
All right, well,
Good evening.
what will we hear, although our ears not quite tuned like yours, perhaps for pitch and tone and things like that, but
Good evening.
primarily, what are we going to listen to?
Music, cool, hot, and classical, captured on tape and plastic discs.
Sitting out here on my patio on a warm evening, and I'm going to take you on some unique sonic experiences.
Okay, so I've not made a video in ages. I've been doing many other things, some of which are and aren't related to the game. Anyways, time to celebrate a year and a half of me working on this game. Yay! I thought I was going to be done in August of 2021, but here we are. So after trying the game out with my friends and it going horribly in my attempts to remedy a majority of the bugs that we faced, I realized that my code was terribly structured. Here's just one example. Whenever the player is doing some action, be it shooting or throwing, the item that the player is holding tells the player blueprint to play an animation. This worked pretty well enough, but what the problem was is that I had written out this code for playing animations in 5 different places. They were all basically doing the same thing, but with slight differences, and that made the animations work very weirdly when it came to multiplayer. After I realized many other problems, I decided it was time. It was time to restart again. Goodbye, 200 plus hours of code. But I did keep the models in art because there's no problem with them. So on the 19th of November, I created a new Unreal Engine project and got to work. This time, I had a better plan. Except, still not that great of a plan. You see, usually when people make a game of decent scale, they make what's called a game design document, which details every single aspect of the game and how it's going to work. This way, when you're working on some part of the game and you forget what you're working on, or if you want to know what to do next, you can refer to this document as a guide or a fancy huge checklist. This way you won't get problems like feature creep and underestimating the scope of your project. While you're designing the GDD, you enter what's called the pre-production phase. This phase is used for designing the game and also testing potential game mechanics to see what works with what tools you're using. And with that knowledge, I was prepared to not use it whatsoever, and I continued trucking on with the game without a plan, which was a terrible idea. Although I would like to highlight the fact that this is quite a bad idea if you're actually trying to make a game. I'm just too lazy for my own good. All was going well with development. Summer was coming around the corner, and I was excited to be working on the game full-time since I didn't have to worry about school anymore. I was getting a little tired of working on Counter-Strike Siege towards the end of the year, but luckily I had a wonderful vacation coming up to take some time to relax. I came back from the vacation and tried to work on it and didn't get anything done. Just stared at the screen for 20 minutes. I figured I was still in vacation mode, so I figured I'd give it a week or two just to get back in the groove. During that time, I tried to work on it a few times to see if I had been recovered, but I had not. Come to the end of those 2 to 3 weeks I gave myself, I still wasn't able to get any work done on the game. And then one fateful night, I was on a call with my friends. I told them about how I felt about the game and its development, and that I was very upset that I couldn't work on it. And then I said to him, "What are the symptoms of burnout?" And to that he replied, "Exactly that."
So now I have burnout from working on this game.
I was devastated. But luckily, I had 50 games in my Steam library that I still haven't played. Fast forward a couple months, and I am at some game development summer camps which I had signed up for a while back. I had a blast at those camps, and with that came some new energy to work on my game. Although with this energy, I still didn't quite work on it because I felt like I just needed some more time to sit with it. And then, I was on another call with some other friends. They had found my devlogs and asked when Devlog 3 was coming. I told them about my burnout, and then they hyped me up again to work on it. So I got back on Counter-Strike Siege that night. And I figured that not only I should have planned for the game, I should have planned for how I was going to work on it. You see, usually when I encounter my work sessions, I just think about what I'm going to do and then turn on some heavy music and then try and truck through it. This worked for a while until Burnout came. Now I'll just play test the game and then see what does and doesn't work, and if it doesn't, I'll add it to to-do list. Every session, I'll try and knock out at least 1 to 2 things on the to-do list. I'm still working on a healthier work ethic, but this is a start. Now that I'm done talking about working on the game, let me tell you about what I've done. I haven't done a whole lot compared to the other devlogs, but I did make a map It's a laboratory with office cubicles at the top and a laboratory at the bottom. It's not super great, and it's a little barren, but the aesthetics are there. One of the friends that helped hype me up is now taking on the job of level designer and is working on some pretty cool maps. I also switched out the player model for a more simple model to make animations easier for me to do since I'm not that good at animating. I figured it'd be a worthy sacrifice for a good-looking player model for even better animations since the feel of the game has a pretty heavy role on how enjoyable it is. If you watch this video about Wolfenstein gun sounds by People Make Games, you know what I'm talking about. So far I made animations for just about every item in the game, save for a few bugs when playing the animations. My level designer made a sweet test level for me, so now that I'm not staring at this anymore, production will definitely increase. With all that said, goodbye. Love you and have a great day. I don't know when the next devlog will be, but hopefully by the end of the year. We'll see.